Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Carshénah with versefilmsproductions, and this is SCREAMTOBER. I'll be doing a video a day for 31 days up into Halloween, so let's get started.
Welcome to Verse Films Productions' annual SCREAMTOBER here on our horror channel. I'm your host, Carshénah, and I've got 31 days to get you in the mood for Halloween. Join me as I share a video a day with a new theme each week that you will find scary, haunting, and sometimes just plain fun. Let's get into it. Welcome to Alphabet Horror Week, 26 horror movies from A to Z, so be sure to count down your favorite alphabet soup killings this week. Let's get started. Popcorn, 1991. It all starts when a group of film students looking to raise money fix up an old movie theater for a one-night-only horror festival. They plan to show 50s horror flicks using old gimmicks like Aromarama, 3D glasses, and shock seats. In a box of old junk, they find an ancient film reel containing some really graphic and disgusting footage of an insane, demonic-looking hippie chanting "Possessor" in a really sick voice. Stars Jill Sholin, the late Tom Villard, and Dee Wallace. Not streaming anywhere for free, but you can buy or rent on Amazon. One of the students is shocked to discover that the man in the film is the man who has been plaguing her dreams lately. The festival rolls around and all is fine until someone starts offing the students one by one. It then turns into a whodunit and things never get boring. I enjoyed Popcorn because it was a highly original take on the slasher genre. The late Ray Walston had an amusing cameo, and Tom Villard was never better. I was a little shocked to read that Tom had passed away. It's a shame that he's not around anymore because the guy had a lot of potential and was very underrated. Popcorn is exactly like its title suggests, a light-hearted, teen-centric, and not to be taken too seriously popcorn movie. Although this means it is fairly light on the gore and features absolutely no nudity with its pretty nifty horror film theme script that any fan of the genre can get a kick out of. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 31 minutes.
Popcorn. Buy a bag. Go home in a box.
Quarantine, 2008. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 29 minutes. You can rent or buy on Amazon Prime. Quarantine is a remake of Rec, short for Record. It's not without flaws, but it is a very solid and chilling horror film. Quarantine is able to expand on several of the strengths in Rec while falling into a few pitfalls of its own. Both films are about a TV news crew taping a show about what a night in the life of a fireman is like. A seemingly routine call turns out to be something much more, and the news crew is trapped in a quickly quarantined building. A television reporter and her cameraman are assigned to spend the night shift with the Los Angeles fire crew. After a routine 911 call takes them to a small apartment building, they find police officers already on the scene in response to blood-curdling screams coming from one of the apartments. They soon learn that a woman living in that building has been infected by something unknown. After a few of the residents are viciously attacked, they try to leave with the news crew, only to find the building has been quarantined. All communication is stopped. The only evidence of what took place is the news crew's videotape. Stars Jennifer Carpenter, Steve Harris, Jay Hernandez, and Columbus Short, and Doug Jones makes a creature cameo. It lures you in with a very relaxed opening for 10 minutes, but once you reach the building and the cop in charge asks why the camera crew is there, the whole tone of the movie changes. The fun and games, the lighthearted banter is gone. We only realize how serious it is when they enter the apartment of an injured old woman. For me, the tension starts with the entrance to the apartment and never lets up. Carpenter is the focus of the camera because of her role as a reporter, and it isn't an easy part to play. She is solid for the majority of the film, but terror essentially overwhelms her with 10 minutes to go, and she is reduced to a sobbing, shrieking, shivering bowl of jello. Rec felt a bit more organic and gritty than Quarantine. The performances are decent in both, but you feel less of a connection to the characters in Quarantine. Many are clearly there to serve as fodder with no attempt to seriously develop them. Rec does a much better job, particularly when the reporter interviews each of the building's residents. Here's some trivia about the film. Both Wame Balaguero and Paco Plaza, directors of the original Rec film in 2007, have expressed their dissatisfaction with this movie, Quarantine. This film does not feature a musical score, but it is shot in chronological order. Despite being a near shot-for-shot remake of Rec, in discussion leading up to release and in the behind the scenes, the filmmakers referred to the film as an entirely new story. Quarantine also has some Buffy the Vampire Slayer series connections. Sharon Ferguson portrayed the first Slayer, while Danea Ramirez played one of the potentials. Doug Jones portrayed one of the gentlemen during the series episode were demonic beings that caused the city of Sunnydale to be put under quarantine.
They're not gonna let us out if we're alive, are they?
No matter what happens, just keep moving.
My daughter has a fever.
I think I know what this is.
We need to talk. Whose apartment is this? Oh my God.
You have no idea how bad this thing is.
The man who lives here.
Let me get out of here! Go back!
I'm fixing it, come on!
Rec 2007, short for record. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 18 minutes. Stars Manuela Velasco, Ferran Terraza, Jorge Yamanserrano, and David Vert. Directed by Wame Balaguero and Paco Plaza. This is a handheld camera, a la Blair Witch type film made in a convincingly realistic style and gives the impression it's real life rather than actors in a film. Without spoiling too much, it is a classic zombie film in an up-to-date setting that, although gory in parts, aims more for the realism of its characters than on the more usual Hollywood special effects and settings that most try to emulate. Rec turns on a young TV reporter and her cameraman who cover the night shift at the local fire station. Receiving a call from an old lady trapped in her house, they reach her building to hear horrifying screams, which began a long nightmare and a uniquely dramatic TV report. All in all, a well-made and terrifying film set in a situation that, if it happened to you, you could easily see your own potential reactions portrayed by one or more of the characters, which just makes it all the more realistic and scary. This movie is the sort of movie that picks you up by the neck and drops you right in the middle of the excitement, literally. The way the movie is shot with the camera is amazing. It's like you were there yourself being part of that horrible experience of being boxed inside a relatively small area and being stalked by crazed, infected people. The infected were great, good makeup and effects, and brought a lot of excitement to the movie. Here's some trivia about the film. Made and shot in real locations. No sets were built to make this movie. Manuela Velasco really is a TV presenter in her own native Spain. One of the major inspirations for the first-person survival horror game Outlast in 2013, the game explores lines between science and religion, much like Rec series does, with medical science, viruses, and possession. The actors were never given the script in its entirety, so none of them knew of their characters' fate. Sometimes not until the day that they were actually filming their scenes. This meant that the actors were, more often than not, stressed, nervous, and apprehensive on the day of filming. Ideal qualities for the film itself. Rec is the original over Quarantine, and in my opinion, so much better. Subspecies, 1991, directed by Ted Nicolau. This is a 90s classic vampire movie that spawned a 6-movie horror franchise from Full Moon Entertainment, the same production company that brought you Puppet Master, Trancers, and other B-movie horror films that went direct to video. 3 students get caught in the struggle between a good vampire and his evil brother in the Transylvania mountains. It's the classic story of good brother versus bad brother, as the vampire sons of old King Vlad, played by Angus Scrimm from Phantasm fame, he has handsome, noble, boring Stefan, and then hideous, jealous, scheming Radu, played phenomenally by Anders Hove, battle over the rights to their inheritance. Fans of the more gruesome aspects of horror will no doubt get a kick out of the blood-drooling vampire villain Radu. He's pretty effective in this movie, powerful with a memorable raspy voice. I like him better in the sequels when actor Anders Hove gives a more self-parodying, campy performance. Aside from vampires and blood, you get your full share of nudity. The storyline in Subspecies was simplistic and very straightforward. It offered no surprises, turns, or plot twists along the way. Beautifully shot in Romania, with cast and crew to share the beautiful customs, imagery, and the people of Romanian countryside. Streaming free on Tubi TV, Freevee, Amazon Prime, and the Roku channel. Catch you tomorrow.
Subspecies. The night has fade.